CAT declines relief to 7 IAS officers over cadre reallocation to AP and Telangana. Now, this is because there are some IAS officers, bifurcation tarvata who should be allocated to AP, who should be allocated to Telangana. There are some issues in it. Some IAS officers want to stay in Telangana, like Amrapali. Sorry. Recently, DOPT ordered them that some 2 to 3 IAS officers in Telangana, you have to surely go to AP. You will be get relieved here and you need to go to AP. Now, all these orders will be given by DOPT. DOPT means Department of Personnel and Training. It is under Ministry of Personnel. Ministry of Personnel is on the. Now, this department is with Honorable Prime Minister only, presently. So, if any reforms in civil services comes, it must happen from here only, actually. Exam process lo gaani evaina. Now, all the orders related to civil servants will be given by DOPT. You might have, if you had followed this Pooja Ketkar issue, orders were given by this DOPT only. Department of Personnel and Training. Personnel means? Personnel spelling ఏంటిది? PRSONNEL. Personnel. Personnel means the staff or the civil servants who are working. Okay? So, we are aspiring personnel. DOPT. Now, if any sort of problems for now in any case or in any sort of problem, we will be going to courts, judiciary, since these are administrative matters. Rather than going to courts, we had created some separate bodies called tribunals. As per, tribunals are created in India as per Article 323A and 323B. 323A and 323B. Remember, earlier tribunals are not part of our constitution. After 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, during the tenure of Honorable former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act has been made to our constitution, which is called as mini constitution also, because lot of amendments have been made in this 42nd Amendment Act. In this, tribunals have been created by this 323A and 323B. This 323A deals with administrative tribunals of both central government and state government. 323B deals with tribunals which are related to matters other than administration, like tax tribunals, aviation tribunals and all. Okay? So, specifically under 323A, there is a formation of Central Administrative Tribunal and State Administrative Tribunals. Okay? Now, if any sort of problem for All India Service Officers or this Central Service Officers, they can file a case in CAT. This is Central Administrative Tribunal. On the orders passed by DOPT, Amrapali and some other IAS officers had filed in CAT. Now, CAT had dismissed their petition and it also warned them whether you don't want to work in Andhra Pradesh or not. Okay? So, basically, మనకి ఎగ్జామ్ పరంగా ఇదేం అవసరం లేదు. మనకు కావాల్సింది ఏంటి? 42nd Amendment Act, 323A, CAT and functioning of DOPT. One more thing you need to have is, since last 10 to 15 years, there is rise of new era in judiciary called as tribunalization of justice. This is important for our mains, not for prelims. Prelims work aithe inte. And some more things you will be learning in your polity and Rashmika. At 323A loni tribunals yokka powers enti, వాటి యొక్క అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఏంటి, ప్రాసెస్ ఏంటి అని. యాజ్ యూజువల్ ది జడ్జెస్ ఇన్ ద ట్రిబ్యునల్స్ విల్ బి అపాయింటెడ్ బై judges will be appointed by President of India. Similarly, tribunals judges will be appointed by president only. And in these tribunals antene there will be some administrative members or technical members along with judicial members. For example, if there are 8 judges on a bench, 4 members will be judicial members, 4 will be technical members. Because మనం ఈ CAT అనేది or else any sort of tribunal, forget about CAT, we had created these tribunals because some issues needed some technical knowledge about an issue. For example, there are water disputes. For water disputes, if we are dealing normally as cases, it is not possible because humans, this hunger, water requirement, all will be involved in it. Some politics will also be involved in it. So only if judges are involved, it is not possible. So there is need for some administrative persons who are having knowledge of water. So technical knowledge. Similarly, there are tax tribunals. Along with judges, there will be some members who are having knowledge of this tax laws, finance and all. Similarly, in this CAT, along with judicial members, we will be having some members who will be having knowledge in administration. Okay? So 50-50% share this President of India will be appointing. And generally, all the courts in India are bound by CRPC, CPC or the new things like BNS and all. But this Central Administrative Tribunal or per se, this CAT is not bound by those. It is bound by only principles of natural justice. Okay? It is bound by principles of natural justice. If it considers something is fair, they can do. If it considers something is unfair, they can stop it. So it is based on principles of natural justice. It is having all the powers as a common civil court and all. And even on the orders of CAT also, we can go to higher courts. Okay? Generally, before we used to have a provision that from CAT or else from any tribunals, we can go directly to Supreme Court. There is a provision mentioned in the article itself. Now the problem is that in a case called Chandra Kumar case, in Chandra Kumar case, Supreme Court told that, okay, you are having powers to come to us, but since we are an integrated judiciary, first go to High Court, then only come to us. So from now onwards, from this case onwards, Chandra Kumar case, if I am not wrong, subject to correction, it is in 1997. From then onwards, on any order of CAT, one should go to High Court, then to Supreme Court. Okay? Now, the one more thing which I am telling this, tribunalization of justice. It is bad or good? Now, tribunals, they will be having technical knowledge and there is speedy justice, possibility of speedy justice. Already we are having judicial pendency of cases, it could be reduced. Now there is a flip side of this also. The problem is that even here also there are many pending cases. Again from this we are going to High Court and Supreme Court, since it is integrated judiciary. So the very purpose of formation of these tribunals is being failed. Right? So there is need for some sort of modifications or reforms in this also. And for example, take this NGT. We had formed NGT as a tribunal to solve environmental cases, National Green Tribunal. But even in this NGT also there are many pending cases. So that is problem. Foundation stone laid for India's second VLF radar station in Vikarabad. See, yesterday, Honorable Defence Minister of India and Honorable Chief Minister of Telangana laid the foundation stone for this very low frequency station in Damagundam in Vikarabad of Telangana. Now this will be helping in better signalling, better communication for Indian Navy. Okay, better signaling, better communication for Indian Navy. Indian Navy's communication with ships or submarines. Okay, అంటే గ్రౌండ్ స్టేషన్ నుండి వెళ్ళి వస్తాయి కదా, సో అట్లా ఇది వెరీ లో ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ రేడార్స్. అయితే దట్ ఈజ్ సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ సూటబుల్ ఏరియా బికాస్ దేర్ విల్ బీ రిలేటివ్లీ లెస్ అవుట్ సైడ్ ఇంటర్ఫరెన్స్. అందుకని దే హ్యాడ్ ఐడెంటిఫైడ్ దట్. దే హ్యాడ్ రిక్వెస్టెడ్ ఫర్ దిస్ బ్యాక్ ఇన్ 2017 ఓన్లీ. ఫ్రమ్ దెన్ ప్రాసెస్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ హ్యాపెనింగ్. finally they had laid the foundation stone here. Now the problem is, you might have seen newspapers or in TV channels, environmentalists are opposing this. Environmentalists, like even if you see this investigative journalists like Tulsi Chendu and all, they are opposing this Damagundam project, because the thing they say is that there will be destruction of the forest, destruction of the trees. So here the problem is, even in our ethics case study also you might get these sort of things. Here environment, now we are in an ethical dilemma. Environment versus national security. This is very much essential for national security of India, for the functioning of Indian Navy. This VLF radar station is very much important for India. But environmentalists are opposing because there is chance of degradation of forests, cutting down of around 1500 trees. Some are saying that 1500 trees, some are saying more than 2000 trees and all. This is problematic. But if it is for any sort of industry which can be located in other place, it is okay. But here the thing is, this is important for our India's national security. So we have no other option. We have to pursue this. So what we can do? What is the way forward? థీసిస్ కింద నేషనల్ సెక్యూరిటీకి కావాలన్నాం, యాంటీ థీసిస్ కింద ఇది ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ ప్రాబ్లము వద్దు అని అంటున్నాం. వాట్ ఈస్ ద సింథసిస్ హియర్? ఇంత క్లాస్లో మీరు లేరు కాబట్టి అది మీకు అర్థం కాదు. సో సింథసిస్ ఏంటి ఇక్కడ మనకి? వాట్ షుడ్ వీ డూ? ఇదే ఎథిక్స్ కేస్ స్టడీ అయితే మీరు ఏం చేస్తారు? ఒక లైన్తో రాయం కదా, ఇంకా చెప్పండి. See, we cannot move this VLF station from other place. That is the suitable place. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పండి. So we need to find alternate. దీనికి ట్రీస్తో కన్నా there is something called net forest value. ఆ నెట్ ఫారెస్ట్ వాల్యూని క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసి we have to grow same number of trees commensurately in other place, and also because of this livelihood of many tribals will be lost there. We need to provide livelihood to them. We need to provide skill development, education facilities for them. Okay? Because as India is a poor country, we have to accept it. Even now 21% of the Indian population are under BPL, below poverty line. So in India, development and environment should go hand in hand. Sustainable development is the only way forward. We cannot leave development or we cannot leave environment. So we have to think of some alternatives. Since we cannot move this station outside, what we can do? For the people who are affected there, we can give some employment. We can give them some skill training. They are planning to develop some township over there. Some housing facilities can be provided to them. Some educational facilities can be provided to them. Right? Because national security cannot take a back seat. And as far as possible, we need to reduce the number of trees which could be cut over there. ఎంత తక్కువ వీలైతే అంత తక్కువ, బట్ ఫ్రీగా చేసేయడం కాకుండా. అండ్ వీ నీడ్ టు క్రియేట్ ద నెట్ ఫారెస్ట్ వాల్యూ, హౌ మచ్ బీయింగ్ లాస్ట్ ఇన్ సమ్ అదర్ ఆల్టర్నేట్ ప్లేస్. వీఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ సమ్ క్యాంపా మెకానిజం, రైట్? క్యాంపా మెకానిజం అనుకుంది, కంపన్సేటరీ అఫారెస్టేషన్ అని. Of course, that is for some private companies. We can utilize the same thing here also, CAMPA funds. Okay? Have you heard about this CAMPA? మరి అడగాలి కదా తెలియనప్పుడు. Least light pollution, least sound pollution. Not only this, now we are having some telescopes. Telescopes we will be selecting in the places where there will be least light pollution, least sound pollution, outside interference తక్కువ ఉండేలాగా, అండ్ అర్త్ రొటేషన్ ఇవన్నీ సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తాం కదా, అది చేసినప్పుడు సిగ్నలింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ కరెక్ట్గా ఉండేలాగా. బేస్డ్ ఆన్ దట్ దే విల్ బీ హ్యావింగ్ సమ్ మెట్రిక్స్ టు ఐడెంటిఫై. నౌ కంపన్సేటరీ అఫారెస్టేషన్ మెకానిజం క్యాంపా అంటే, Now this is the CAMPA is an authority which will be promoting this compensatory afforestation. This is created under Forest Conservation Act 1980. Okay. Rashmika is face of India's cybercrime awareness mission. See, around 1 month back, if I am not wrong, we had discussed in class about Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, I4C. Honorable Home Minister came for the meeting of I4C, Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. Now, this Cybercrime Coordination Center has been created last year, if I am not wrong, for promoting awareness, for reporting of cyber cases and all. Now, Rashmika has been selected as brand ambassador of it because ఏదైనా అవనండి బట్ మనకి ఎవరిని ఐడెంటిఫై చేస్తారనేది అయితే మనకు అవసరం లేదు. మేబీ ఇన్ CCL ఎగ్జామ్స్ ఆర్ సమ్ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ లోవర్ ర్యాంక్ ఎగ్జామ్స్ this might be asked, but here you need to know about I4C, this Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. In mains, we are having a topic called cyber security. In that cyber security, we will be having one of the question which says what are the measures which government of India had taken. In it, one of the measure which government of India had taken is Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, Cyber Swachhata Kendras, itla number of measures తీసుకున్నారు. Have you heard about this certain Computer Emergency Response Team? Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. This certain any sort of cyber frauds or else any sort of cyber security issues happen in our systems, applications and all. These are the first point of interference. This certain team must be given knowledge that if, for example, if in an application or in a network, if there is any sort of hacking is happening, my company got to know, I have to report to certain. These are the people who will be having knowledge of those. They can give some warnings. So what is this? Computer Emergency Response Team. Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. Northeast monsoon sets in with a bang in Tamil Nadu. We are completed about northeast monsoon now. Southwest monsoon ki northeast monsoon ki difference enti? Are both are same? Different kada? Different type lo form of this is not a continuity. Northeast monsoon will be having a lot of impact on which areas of India? Tamil Nadu and lower areas of southern areas of Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Monsoons are made from which planetary winds? Trade ఏంటి అవి? ఈస్టర్లీస్. ట్రేడ్ వెస్టర్లీస్ అని ఉంటాయా? మీన్స్ monsoons are embedded in trade easterlies. Now this easterlies, westerlies, these are called as planetary winds. Overall planet మొత్తం ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి these are called as planetary winds. Modifications in these planetary winds will create these sort of cyclones, monsoons and all. Then monsoons are some modification in our planetary winds. Okay. They are also called as prevailing winds. Enduku? They will be prevailing year long, no? These planetary winds eppudu untayi kada. That's why they are called as prevailing winds also. IMD issues red alert for many districts in AP. Now మనకి ఇదంతా అవసరం లేదు కానీ we need to know about this warning system, cyclone warning system. Already, if I am not wrong, in 2022, we got a question about this color coding of cyclones. Have you learned this? Yes. Oh, yellow warning ante enti, red warning ante enti, orange alert ante enti. Significance of those things. See, this October 16th is World Food Day, it seems. So all the articles are based on this food day only. Now specifically, food security. Food security means food is available to me, accessible to me and affordable to me, and I must have energy to consume it. Now if I am having some problem, I cannot consume it, I cannot take nutrients from him. And even if I am having malnutrition also, it is problem. Malnutrition doesn't mean we are having food security. We are having malnutrition means we are having hidden hunger problem. We do not have required micronutrients in our body. Malnutrition అంటే తెలుసు కదా. They says that a food sufficient India needs to be hunger free too. Food sufficient India needs to be hunger free too. See, obviously India is food sufficient now. Earlier, if I am not wrong, I told in this class only. Earlier, after the independence, we are dependent on USA for our food, this even for basic food imports like wheat, rice. Under a scheme called PL 480, we used to import. This is being called by the foreign media as ship to mouth or else begging bowl. They used to quote ourselves as begging bowl, quote India as begging bowl in the newspapers. Now after that we went for, at that point India is not food sufficient. India is facing the problem of food insecurity. Once we went to our green revolution, we went for some extreme production, for green revolution, MSP, irrigation facilities and all. India, we could achieve food sufficiency. Now we are exporting rice, wheat, food grains, everything to foreign countries. Okay? Now we are in very much able position or in Atmanirbharta in foods. Now the problem is, even after all this, we are facing the problem of hunger. Yesterday, if I am not wrong, yesterday or day before yesterday, global hunger index has been released. India has been ranked around 104 or 105. Right? Although this 105 might be inflated. We are not such bad, but we are not so good. That we have to accept it. And it is true that even in our locality only, even in our villages, in our cities only, we will see many people who are not having food. Road side ఉండేవాళ్ళు, starving ఉండేవాళ్ళు చాలామంది ఉన్నారు. We know them. Means there is food surplus, there is food scarcity in some places. There is some mismatch in it. We need to solve this problem. This is called as paradox of plenty. ఒక పక్క we are having lot of food. FCI godowns, there are many metric tons which are going of no wastage and no use. Rats are eating, rain, pest infestation is happening, rain is going on them. So there is lot of food. But on the other side, we are also having people who are dying of hunger. People who couldn't even eat once a day. 21% of the population is under below poverty. Many people are starving to death. In Jharkhand, around 3 to 4 years back, 16 people died because of hunger. Only because they are not getting food from PDS system. Mother gave stone to eat to the children because she couldn't handle anything. So we are facing the problem of paradox of plenty. Paradox means contradictions ane unnayani. We are having food surplus, we are having food scarcity also. Right? Now one more problem here is that, see, another paradox here we are having is, in one season tomatoes or onions will go to 150-200 rupees. In one season farmers will be throwing all their produce in the markets because they are not even getting 50 paisa 1 rupee for their produce. Now here also we are facing the problem. We are having food security even now. We are having food sufficiency, but consumers are not getting enough food, and even the farmers who are growing that food also are not getting remunerative prices. That is also problematic. In your agriculture ayinda meeku PDS National Food Security Act ivanni ayyayi kada. So from that perspective, see, agriculture is one of the, even in our prelims also, since last 3 to 4 years, agriculture questions relative ga lekka adugutunnaru. Those are low hanging fruits, MSP, PDS system, and in mains you will be having 50 marks exclusively for agriculture. Some question number 5, 6 and 15, 16 of GS3, 2 10 markers and 2 15 markers. agriculture questions, those are very relatively easy. If you make 2-page or 3-page notes for every syllabus keyword in the syllabus, this every syllabus keyword of agriculture part, you can handle any answers. Okay, so all these ఇవన్నీ మీరు చదవక్కలేదు, ఎందుకంటే బేసిక్ థింగ్సే మనకి ఎగ్జామ్లో అడిగేది, ఇంత డెప్త్ ఏం అవసరం లేదు. Sufferers awarded. The Peace Nobel this year should stir debates on nuclear disarmament. Actually, we know now Nobel season is going on. Had I earlier told in the class about Why Nations Fail book, Robinson's book? Okay. Now there is a book called Why Nations Fail. In it, he popularly says that even actually this Why Nations Fail is popular among UPSC aspirants. People will be quoting that in our essays basically. Why Nations Fail. అయితే అందులోనే వాళ్ళు చెప్పి అతను రాబిన్సన్ అనే అతను, అండ్ దేర్ ఈస్ వన్ మోర్ ఆథర్ ఆఫ్ దట్ బుక్ ఆల్సో. దిస్ ఈస్ ఇఫ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ ఇన్ ద కంట్రీ ఆర్ ఫేసింగ్ డికే, ఇక్కడ మెన్షన్ చేసలేదు నేను చెప్తున్నా, ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ ఇన్ ద కంట్రీ ఆర్ ఫేసింగ్ డికే, that country will fail, that nation will fail. Now say, why Pakistan as a country is failed state? Because there the parliament as an institution has failed, executive legislature has failed, there is some failure in the institution, that's why nations fail. Similarly, our governance is not able to function as effectively as needed. Why? Because corruption has creeped into our democracy. Criminalization of politics has become underbelly of our Indian political system. Right? We are also facing some problems, but at least our institutions, some institutions are doing good. That's why India had become relative success story. Okay? In that book, Why Nations Fail, Robinson and one more author had showed the relation between institutions and success. Okay, that's why they got Nobel Prize in economics for that. Okay, now this year Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to the organization called Hibakusha. This Hibakusha, they will be helping to the people who are affected by this nuclear war and all. Okay, and this Hibakusha also promotes nuclear disarmament. Now what is this nuclear disarmament? What is this nuclear disarmament? Disarmament, tell me about disarmament. See, we are having, have you heard about NPT? Nuclear non-proliferation treaty. Nuclear non-proliferation treaty, is India part of this? So India didn't sign this because of its some reservations from India and some problems in this NPT treaty. India didn't sign this. Now what is the name of this? Nuclear non-proliferation treaty. What is the difference between non-proliferation and disarmament? See, non-proliferation means all, no, there is no link for both of them. Now non-proliferation means appudu all the nuclear weapons until that date, those are acceptable and don't increase further. That is non-proliferation. In this disarmament, we are saying that completely dismantle all the nuclear weapons. Do not have any nuclear weapons at all. That is disarmament. Okay? Now, since Nobel Prize has been awarded to this nuclear disarmament organization, there should be some renewed focus on disarmament around the world, because this nuclear arms by procurement of nuclear arms by one country is creating arms race. Because if India has procured, why India had procured? India said a reason to the world that since Pakistan or else China and Pakistan are having nuclear arms, we are facing the insecurity problem. So to handle our security, to maintain our territorial integrity and sovereignty, we need nuclear weapons, which creates deterrence. But the problem is that because of this, all the countries might go for nuclear weapons. And again, now in this 21st century, one major problem is that there is rise of non-governmental organizations, this terrorist organizations, Hamas and all. What happens if these nuclear weapons go into hands of them? That is even more problematic, because at least on the countries there is watch of UNSC and all. On these terrorist organizations there is no watch at all. So it might create complete destruction of human race. That's why nuclear disarmament is the only way forward. Half of UAPA investigation spending for over 3 years. Now, what is this UAPA? Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Means the activities of the persons which are promoting national insecurity or terrorism will be curbed using this Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. By this, organizations or institutions can be named as terrorist organizations, individuals can be named as terrorist organizations, and they can be arrested without any notice. Okay? Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Now, the problem here is that governments or the ruling parties are using this UAPA as a weapon against opponents. That is the problem. You all might be knowing this, what is happening since yesterday. India-Canada relations had went to the lowest point in the history, because Canada is allegating charges on India, making allegations on India that India is supporting this Nizar killings and all. Now Canada is relatively pro-Khalistani, because what happens, because of this Khalistan, there is loss of territorial integrity of India. It can create instability in India. So that's why we are having a very hard stand. We are complete opposite to this Khalistani. Now, for example, India, Indian government had discussed with Telangana, this agitators back in 2014. Why? Because they just want a separate state. But these Khalistani people want separate country from India, which creates internal security problem for India, which damages territorial integrity of India, which damages sovereignty of India. We are completely against it. Now Canada is supporting, giving safe haven to Indian Khalistani people who are wanting separate Khalistan for India. Now one more thing you need to understand here is Pakistan. This Canada is having a link with Punjab and Haryana, because many people back in our independence day, freedom struggle itself, many people went there for living. You might have heard about Gadar revolution, right? So there is link from the past itself. Let this issue go on, because MEA had given some words and Justin Trudeau and his ministers gave some words. Let this issue take some form, then we can discuss. Even today morning, even USA is saying that have discussions with Canada. MEA had completely opposed it. See, we are having comprehensive economic partnership agreement between India and UAE, page number 13. Comprehensive economic partnership agreement between India and UAE. Okay. Now this CEPA we had signed between India and UAE in 2022. What is this CEPA? Have you heard about free trade agreements? Free trade agreements. This CEPA is a form of free trade agreement. So what happens in the CEPA? There will be some relaxations or reductions in the tariffs between the two countries. There will be some positive indigenization list, where some goods will be selected, and for those goods tariffs will be reduced. In exam directly they can ask about CEPA. Recently CEPA was signed between India and which country? UAE. Okay. Similarly we had signed EFTA with some European countries. Similarly with Australia we had signed another agreement. In IR you will be having, in our prelims, exclusively for prelims, we will be having direct questions only. No need of some hidden or under knowledge. Now the problem is that in India, because of this CEPA, there is rise of imports of gold, silver, platinum and diamonds. What happens? This will be hampering Indian domestic people now, because any things which will be coming over than the limit, it will be hampering domestic market. Those importers which will be importing UAE goods will be having an edge, because of this CEPA, what they are having some tariff reductions. There will be less import duties on them. But other people who are importing from other countries or else who are manufacturing in India, they will be at problematic situation. So that's why government of India is having deliberations on this. Have you heard about this anti-dumping duty, special safeguard duty and all? No? If these any sort of things are happening, India can impose this special safeguard duty, anti-dumping duty,